Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. What is going on, everyone? What's going on, Chip, on this beautiful Sunday evening? I'll tell you what's so amazing. Trump spoke at the Bitcoin conference, the only pro-crypto president, and it's going to be amazing. Promised some amazing things. Promised that the U.S. will be the capital of the entire planet for crypto. Going to make America crypto again, and it's going to be great. That's going to be part of the topic that we're going to dive into today. There's some amazing commentary coming in through all of Twitter over this, and there's some great things going on with John Deaton, some things going on politically. Things are heating up, Chip. It's amazing to see
Yeah, it is.
passion and the tone of that of the speech that Trump gave. He's going to fire Gary Gensler, and the crowd erupted, and everyone was just super fired up. He didn't even anticipate the feedback that he was going to get and how excited everyone was. We're going to play clips of that. So, Chip, when you're ready to kick this thing off,
I'm ready.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Well, everybody, we are Slaves is in here. All with Mike is here as usual. Kelly Slade. Did anyone else just see that march in Philly, all carrying communist flags? What the F is that? Well, I'll tell you what it is. You know who they are not? They're not conservatives, and they're not Republicans. Anybody want to guess who they are?
Mm-hmm.
And I was called a Christo-fascist today. Okay. And so it was called a lot of things on there, but people were... The French thing wasn't a depiction of the last summer. It was a festival of the gods, the Greek gods, and this and that. I'm like, okay, keep stretching it, but...
Man, what a disaster.
But the guy that played the key role, the blue dude, I'm like, look, I know he's a French singer, but like I said before, the famous rock band, alternative band, Phoenix, is French. You could have put Phoenix with two of their best tunes while they played through some history of French. And what do the Greeks have to do with it? And like, who cares how far you go back? Why don't you talk about some positive things? But they had a chance. They blew it, and that's why you have the lowest viewership of any Olympics, and people are boycotting it. And it's sad.
Nobody cares.
These work their ass off, Jeff, and it's really the...
I feel bad
part
for them.
that kills me the most.
Right.
Hey, we got the obligatory supportive comment. I was worried BZ wouldn't come in with that quick enough, but Vince Scully's here. Look at that.
I saw that. So as you guys are coming in, give us a quick shout out where you are tuning in from. So it'll be super exciting to see what's going on. We got a bunch of things to talk about, but Chip, I'm still reeling from this whole Olympics thing, because there should be a lot of passion, but even leading up to it, you know what? No one was even talking about it. So it was kind of like, oh, hey, the Olympics start this weekend. And it's kind of like, oh, really?
I was like, oh, okay. And then boom, I started getting a lot of the images pretty early. And wow, it was
Nashville, Tennessee, at the Bitcoin conference. But the doors are all locked up. Nobody's there. Mark Array arrived a day short, a day late, and a dollar short.
Well, Jeff, there's some counter stuff. There's some counter stuff.
You can't even talk today.
There's some counter stuff going on. I thought I would just put this up because it's been going on both sides.
That's where he's up in the Ozempics.
The Ozempics, yeah, the Ozempics injections, right, for weight loss. Yeah, it's not only
hanging out. He's hanging out in the Ozempics.
Ozempics, okay, good. In a pool of Ozempic. Okay, so here we go. So it's been going back and forth. Archbishop Carlo Vigano called Emmanuel Macron's wife a transvestite, called out Michelle Obama as a muscular man in a wig, while condemning the Satanic Olympics. It's no coincidence that sponsoring revolting carnivals an emissary of the World Economic Forum, Emmanuel Macron, who passes off a transvestite as his own wife with impunity, just as Barack Obama is accompanied by a muscular man in a wig. What the hell, dude? It's all broken loose.
Where does this stuff come from?
This is I don't know. You know this guy, Carlo Vigano.
Was that the official statement?
No. This is Archbishop. He's an Archbishop. But I've seen his stuff before, though. He's something else. Let's see, Carlo. Let's see, where is he? There he is.
Mark is boycotting French's mustard, and I started boycotting French fries.
This is him right here.
No French fries, Chip, for the week.
He got excommunicated from the Catholic Church, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. He's an Italian. I thought he got tossed out because he was he was ragging on the Pope. I think he got tossed. Yeah, here it is right here. Look at this.
Possible he's out.
In 18, he
Gotta-
published an 11-page letter accusing Pope Francis and numerous other of concealing allegations of sexual misconduct, which he should have, because
which is kind of what was going on, if you remember, during that period of time. There was a bunch of cover up.
Yeah, he also rejected the Second Vatican Council, which I'm behind on that too, because that was garbage. Yeah. So anyway, he went a little bit hard at it. That's okay, So you're gonna get it back on both sides. But the amount of people who were like, it was the Greek gods, and someone said somebody's, genitalia was hanging out, and they're like, oh no, it was mistaken for that. And they published this on the not the blue guy, but some guy behind him. They said like, oh no, that was something else, and people had thought it was his privates, but it wasn't.
Yeah, and who was the guy dance around in a dress with a beard? I mean, it was just
Right.
it was too
Come on,
bizarre.
dude.
And not
Women are
not to target anyone
yeah.
that's overweight, whatever. But we're at the Olympics. They're putting on the skit, the act, and then you have that one person that one woman representing, front and center, and just a very, very large woman over there. Not to critique anything, but it's the Olympics, and you want to, and it was just the whole, mockery. You could tell it was specifically directed at the at the Last Supper, and it's just so unfortunate, and then the backpedaling that they had, man. At some point, this is why they're having problems. They're having a lot of trouble going on over there. Doctor, Doctor Jill, Doctor Jill. Yeah, she even had we talked about it before.
I don't think we can play any of it, but this I did put this up so you can at least see what you're talking about. We're talking about here, but this is it right here. Yeah. So, and then the other weird thing was they had all these trannies around there hanging out there, and they had this little girl.
Yeah, that was the other part.
13-year-old girl, and they're like dancing around her. It just was weird.
The whole thing was just
and like
way too bizarre,
almost like a Christ-like thing. And then they showed, well, no, this is the Greek gods, and she had something on her head. I'm like,
yeah, where are the Greek gods? Where's the representation of the Greek gods?
Well, apparently, what I was from all the discussions I got into the last 2 days, apparently there was it's mirroring a Greek god, the Greek goddess or festival it's called. There's like, it's a painting, but dude, who's familiar with it? And who knows it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's way too bizarre.
Yeah, the whole thing was just really
the way they were dancing around. I mean, what was kind of cool though is that you had all the countries floating by in the boats. I thought that part was cool. I saw a few pictures of that. I've watched 0 Olympics, 0 nothing.
Here it is right here. This is what they were saying. For all you people outraged, it was actually an homage to pantheon of Greek gods and absolutely nothing to do with Christianity, because this is the Olympics, which all started in Greece. Doesn't make a lot of sense, because the host country always highlights its culture. Greece, where they had it in Greece, they went through all this, right? Because it was Greece and they went through their history. But this is what they're trying to say, that this is based on this, okay? This is what they're trying to kind of like talk about a little bit, but whatever. I mean, who knows that that's what it would have been? I mean, come on.
What is that scene? Is that the scene of a god and goddesses? What is it?
Yeah, it's like it's not the Christian god.
The gods.
It's a Greek god. But again, why would a Greek god? Why would you have any semblance? This is another one here. As a Catholic, I assume you'll issue a correction for the false accusation that depicts Bacchanal, the fat woman betrays Apollo, not Christ. It's based on the Feast of the Gods, a 1635 painting by Bilgert. It's a Greek gods because Greeks the Olympics. Sorry, I'm not buying it, because you know what? And you know who came out and apologized? The Blue Smurfy dude, and the guy Jolly, whatever his name, the guy that was putting it all together. They came out and apologized to it, because their ratings are in the tank, and the sponsors are looking to pull out, because now people are boycotting sponsors. Pretty much what it was.
A lot of sponsors
probably. Yeah. Sodom and Gomorrah is probably the right thing to.
But this one's my favorite, the Nutsack Olympics.
Yeah, and when they said it wasn't, then I was like, okay. I mean, what's going on?
Fabio, what's up?
Fabio, our man, the man who is one of the key
Man,
people
the myth,
behind that
the
wave of
legend.
innovation in Australia that we were so privileged to be a part of, Jeff, and excited to go back again next year. But yeah, it's just everybody's kind of like just it's funny because I'd watch some people watch it, like some French were watching it on TV, and they were just like their mouths were like. So it's like there was more
It was
outrage, and for the French people
it was
who have a
crazy. It
glorious
was absolutely
culture, a
crazy.
lot of history, it was just a missing. And like I told people, I'm like, Chip, you're so outraged. I'm like, it's not so much outrage, is the fact that it's disrespectful. But you know what they didn't have there? And I can't even say it. I want to say it, Jeff. You and I talk about it all the time. But you know what they did? You know which religion they didn't go after?
Mm.
You know which one they
Right.
didn't go after? Begins with an I, Jeff, and ends with an M. That's the one they
Yep.
didn't. They don't dare go after that. Why? Because
They don't.
maybe 20% of the population is. But they never have a problem
Scary, the
bagging
numbers.
on Christianity or Judaism, right? They're always it's one or the
Seem
other,
to be
or
pretty good at that.
both at the same time, right? It's not it's a nonstop. But let's get to Trump. Let's talk about Trump going to the Bitcoin conference, and we heard a lot of criticism of this as well. Reminding me of that one pervert at the pool
This
with
junk hanging out.
Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate that, Kelly. The one that throws their Western supporters off roofs. That one, yeah.
That one.
And then if they
The
survive,
IMF. That's what that might have been. Was it the IMF?
I don't know, but if you're lucky to survive, you know what you get? Not a prize. You get stoned.
You get
Like,
stoned,
dude,
and not you don't get. They're not getting you high.
Yeah, not that kind of stuff.
That kind of stuff.
They're always big
It's
rocks.
sometimes
they're like
they'll
giant,
bury them up to their head too. Yeah.
right? They can barely almost throw it. Heavy boulders, man. Or pieces of concrete I've seen thrown. So here's Trump.
The best was did you ever watch that movie Life of Brian?
Of
They're
course.
selling the rocks and they're faking them out to get a nice pointy one. Then they run over the big stone. They just drop the big stone on them.
I thought it was fantastic. Here we go.
The moment I'm sworn in, the persecution stops and the weaponization ends against your industry. And as long as I'm in the Oval Office, Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas, do you remember?
Pocahontas, of course.
Yes, I'm an Indian. Yes, she said, I'm an Indian. Why are you an Indian? You don't look like an Indian. No, my mother told me I have high cheekbones. Oh, that's why she was an Indian. So I named her Pocahontas. Elizabeth Warren and her.
Now listen, if you're into Bitcoin and you're not really paying attention, Jeff, you're like, what in the F is he talking? What's he talking about, right? I'm an Indian and this and people were criticizing because he went off. He always goes off prompter. You can tell when he's talking prompter. Yep. And a lot of people criticize him, saying it was more of a campaign rally. But when would he have commanded this type of audience for the crypto community, Jeff?
He went from that, went to another rally.
Oh yeah, he went right to it, and it was like an hour. It was like in an hour.
Yeah, he got on his plane, flew to the next place.
Got out, parked there, and he came from a different rally before. This guy's like the Energizer Bunny.
He is.
Her goons, and she's very nasty to you. She hates your people. She hates everything about you. Will keep their hands off.
A good time to say, why don't you support John Deaton, the Republican that's running, and take her out? That would have been pretty good.
Bitcoin, they're going to keep their hands off crypto. They're going to let it grow. We're going to let it grow. On day one, I will fire Gary Gensler and appoint a new SEC chairman.
The crowd, yeah. Can you hear the crowd? Because my
can definitely hear the crowd.
Yeah, my crisp has filtered it out. So look, Trump was not prepared for that.
No, he definitely. He definitely did not expect that. I mean, but the thing is that he had to give the lead up to it. He can't just come out and say what, he has to create the lead up because Elizabeth Warren is the kingpin that's trying to destroy crypto. The point that he's every speech, he has a good point. He has all the stories, but the stories interconnect to the main theme and the main point. And in this case, it's like, get the Democrats out of the way. The Democrats don't support you. The Republicans support you. Find the Republican candidate. And when Trump's in office, he's going to create that path to making crypto great in the U.S. and allow us to be elite. It was interesting too. He didn't say in the world. I love how, on this planet. It's like the entire planet. Like this. That's it. We have to recapture. This was a super impassionate, a super passionate speech because of the the meaning behind this, to have him go there. And now we know he's pro crypto. The crypto community needs to be galvanized around not just electing Trump, but electing Republicans across the board. You take the House, you take the Senate, you get the presidency, you get immediate path to regulatory clarity for crypto. There you go.
And there you have it.
There you have it. That's it. What we need.
I didn't know he was that unpopular.
That's awesome.
Wow. I didn't know he was that unpopular. Let me say it again. On day one, I will fire Gary Gensler. Whoa.
Oh my God, that's
It's hitting good.
look at that. I don't even think he gets a cheer like that when he's at a regular Trump rally.
He can't believe it. He's like, what the hell? Look at him.
I know.
I will appoint a new SEC chairman who believes America should build the future, not block the future, which is what they're doing.
That's
There you have it.
so
He also
huge.
talked about his, forget about choke point 2.0. He hit all the parts. So anybody who's doubting, and everyone's like, well, Trump said this before. I said, but the difference is Trump can pivot. You know why Trump can pivot? Because all of the legislation since 2017 has been written by Republicans. Now, the Democrats are going to be much more challenged because their whole platform for the last 4 years is destroy crypto. And so now
That's right,
Kamala
that's
Harris
it.
is saying, yeah, we're going to talk. We want to have a conversation. We want to talk about it. Well, you know what? Forget about talk. Talk is cheap. Actions are the last thing. You know what action would you do? Get rid of Gensler. Tell him to resign. You can't get rid of him,
Yep.
but you got to tell him to please resign. We don't want you here anymore. And you got to
Got
call off the
gotta
dogs
get
with
another one.
Elizabeth Warren and a Shermanator and who else, Jeff? A bunch of other nutters that are in
All of them.
Congress.
The Shermanator, Schiff, Schumer,
These
Shifty Schiff. A
shifty
whole
shit.
lot of them. They're all bad news. And Jim D, puts out a reminder that Biden plans to try to change the Constitution next week while he still has control over 38 of the 50 states to elevate POTUS over SCOTUS. He's going to make an attempt to change the Constitution to add more Supreme Court justice. It has to go through the Congress, has to go to the House,
Yeah,
then it
he
can go
can't.
to Senate. I don't think the Senate is going to do
No.
it on its own.
House
Bob
is gonna do it.
Moneybags. Hey, do you
Moneybag-
guys? We haven't
Holy
seen Bob Moneybags in. We see
my God.
Bob not Moneybags in here, but Bob Moneybags. Man, do you guys think that the government getting involved with holding reserves would increase scrutiny on private holdings, i.e., revisions to the AML Act of 2020 to monitor crypto holders even more? What do you think about that?
That's a good question. I mean, it's hard to say what it would actually do, but I like the question. I like posing a very solid type of a question there. I feel like it's weird. I feel like I'm being strangled over here. And Jeff, your chin is like right there. So, if
I
they
know.
get involved
Right.
in holding reserves, so that you're talking about what they talk,
Yeah.
what Cynthia Lummis was talking about, and RFK Jr. and a little bit of Trump, where they said they're going to hold Bitcoin reserves. I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea, but here's the thing: it's like, so if other governments take the same sort of position, you've got 21 million ever. We have almost a good 17 million, 18 million mined, whatever it is, right? Don't quote me on it. And maybe 3 to 5 million are just lost because it was early days and people threw them out on a hard drive or lost their keys or whatever it might be. Well, you could technically almost drive that price up pretty high if you got all these hodlers and no one's ever selling. If you have 1 million Bitcoin in reserves and you take 5 to 6, 7, 10 million out of circulation, I mean, you could potentially drive the price up, but it remains to be seen if that would actually happen. Now, what I'd be more in favor of is getting rid of the Federal Reserve, because the Federal Reserve is a debt tool which enslaves people. I don't know. What's your take on it, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm right along there with you. I think it's a good thing if you want to put for governments to hold crypto assets in the Treasury. I think it would be a great idea. I mean, we're talking
Screwing
about
him.
anti-money laundering. Is it going to change the dynamics of scrutiny on us? I mean, I think if they're going to hold it in reserve, if they're going to put it in the Treasury, we're just bolstering it's like putting gold into reserve. So the fact that they have gold in reserve, does that impact us anymore? Except for when they made it illegal, and you couldn't hold or transact in gold. Uh, uh, other than a point like that, I don't see a problem with it. And to your point, if governments all over the world start stacking their treasuries with crypto assets, I think
Mhm.
it just takes more out of the marketplace, and just creates more potential value, because now governments are holding it, and the government could say, well, people are going to look
Think
at
about
that
yourself.
to another level. Look at MicroStrategy. He's putting it in his treasury, for that company, and their MicroStrategy is holding a whole bunch. Michael Saylor did that. Now governments do that. Other big corporations will do it. And it's going to go beyond Bitcoin. It's going to cross the different assets, especially with the ETFs. They rolled out the ETH ETF. Soon, maybe it'll be a Solana ETF or an XRP ETF. That's changing the whole dynamics. We're growing up. We're moving to a whole new stage in this asset class. We're leaving from the dancing bears and the riddlers, and we're moving into a more serious financial space. And when we get to the more serious financial space, you get all the big players, all the big institutional players and government players are coming in. That you can't stop it at this point. If we want true clarity, if we want true expansion of the space, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
So
good question though, man. Good to see you in
it's
here as
awesome.
well.
Yep.
Good to
Yep.
see we haven't seen you in forever and a day and a half. G'day, mate. G'day. Mark Smithson's in here. Yeah,
Billion.
but
You're
it is.
fired.
By the way, speaking of Aussies, we got Bill Morgan, the fantastic Bill Morgan, who always has some good musings about our politics over here, which is great. And also, he was a great, especially during that whole lawsuit thing, was weighing in pretty
Awesome.
heavily.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
So
very
Bill
good.
said this, and a couple people from the community, mainly you and I, commented, and also JV, who's also been a pretty regular guest of the show, guest hosting. I am happy that Trump sees the value in crypto, but disappointed that Trump used the Bitcoin speech to polarize the issue of crypto. We know the current administration's hostile to crypto. I just wanted to hear the policy he has for Bitcoin and crypto. He doesn't seem to realize some of the prominent Bitcoin people at the Bitcoin conference are more hostile to other cryptos than the current administration. And I think that right there, Jeff, I mean, we'll get into our comments in a bit, but the thing about it is like a lot of people, even at the conference, said it was really the first time they had listened to Trump all the way through. And he had to sort of set up. It just can't go out there. Here's my policy. I'll do this on day one and day two, on day three, and thanks. Have a good one. Like it
Be
doesn't make any
boring.
sense.
No, it'd
And
be
the guy
boring.
didn't. So there's going to be campaign stuff in there, and you're getting Trump on a teleprompter. And then Trump goes off the teleprompter. It must be madness. By the way, I've worked in television. I've worked with teleprompters. They break all the time. Especially when you're getting ready to go live, it doesn't go right, and you got to fix it. And it's the last minute edits in the screen. And the teleprompter, the one who's scrolling that stuff, that's all done by hand based on the reading speed. It's not an automated thing. It doesn't pick up their thing. A lot of time you have to do it manually because, and I see them, it's like the most stressful job ever because if they get too far, it can challenge like whoever's reading it. And you think it's easy reading a teleprompter? It is not easy reading a teleprompter because it's moving. It's one thing reading this here. We can just read this. But as it's moving and they're big letters on a black screen, white letters on a black screen, and there's only like maybe 3 sentences showing. So it can be really nerve-wracking reading them. Now, the ones that the president uses a lot better.
Yeah. I just want to say, as soon as we start kind of going down certain rabbit holes, and we start talking about things like this, who normally jumps in, and that's DNI. Now we haven't seen DNI jump in a while, so I wonder. Oh wait, there he is. He actually just popped in with a really good comment on this. Also, Trump is running for office, so everything will come through as a political funnel. Plus, the government has politicized crypto, so it's good that he's addressing it.
That's
I
a
love the
great
comment. It's a great
That's a
comment.
great comment, as all comments. But DNI, I love that comment, man. Karma Carmichael's here. I just wanted to let you know, just in case everybody was wondering. I thought he missed the show, but he's here.
Karma.
Yeah, this is funny too. Yeah, Matt did block me today, so he did block me, and then like that was like one of my most popular posts of the week. It just blew up, and everybody had to go comment in there. But Matt Hamilton, former ex-Rippler, he did block me. He didn't like what I had to say. And like most leftists, they are not really champions of free speech. So that is kind of what happened. So let's get into some of the conversation. Go ahead. You want to
here's another one from Miguel. The government is conducting a psyop. They're leading the sheeple to Bitcoin. Then they will rug pull, making the sheeple dependent on the government. Then they bring in universal basic income.
Not with Trump. No, and
not with Trump, but definitely with the current administration. That's exactly what they would want to do. They do want people 100% dependent on government. They do also want the UBI, because the UBI makes you 100% reliant on government. Then they dictate your outcome, and there you have it.
Carmen Carmichael says the favorite part of the speech. Well, let me say that again.
This is when that was great.
Play the room, right? He knows he's going to get the crowd even more riled up. This is the thing. It's like, got to be in the moment. That's one of the things Trump has, is he's in the moment. I've seen him personally. I've met him personally. It's like he's and most people will tell you that off camera, he's a very funny guy. He's a very smart guy, and what he ends up talking about is you. He doesn't talk about himself. He talk, what are you doing? How are you? Like you go to dinner with him? That's all he'll do, is he'll talk about what you're up to. How does that fit in? What are your thoughts on this? Here's some policy ideas. He's a very curious sort of an individual, but he's not a grandstander. Yeah, he gets up on a stage and he does his thing, but people that know him personally, it's a little bit different. And so
the other thing is, Chip, he has to get up there and do his thing. It's a show and dance, right? And it's all about it. It's putting his message out there. He's got to continuously get his message out there. And if he goes off script into a new script, then the message gets hidden. And like you said right in the beginning, there's all these brand new people in the audience that probably may or may not have heard him all the way through. And he's bringing in all this stuff that they're passionate about. And he's going to build his case and say, look, it's not just about the crypto. It's about all this stuff, but it all is relevant. So the one thing that you and I always talk about, all these different things factor in together. It's not just crypto. It's all the geopolitics. They're all intertwined with one another. And if you take one out, then you create these vacuums within, and you don't have substance, you don't have foundation, which is this current administration. The part that they're taking out is economic stability, country stability, right? Safety. They want to distance and destroy innovation in this country by not allowing cryptocurrency. They want to manipulate us through digital currency, but they're creating a vacuum of productivity in this country, and they're pushing it all offshores. But there's also this replacement theory that's going on right now, and they're bringing all these illegals into the country in mass numbers that are completely, the majority of which are uneducated and don't have a skill set, and they're flooding into this country in masses. And what are we going to do about that? And now it's interesting because you see Americans are looking at other countries to move to because it's maybe a better quality of life. They're going back to, some are going back to their roots, and some are going to other countries, and they're going to places where, they need more people, and there's, cheap paths to get there. And it's a real interesting dynamic. And we actually have a clip from someone that talked about that, and even what you see going on in Europe. So Trump has to talk about these things to get people fired up. That's all, it's really, really important. You can't miss it.
No. And so some of the comments, like basically what I said was, my comment here, Vivek Ramaswamy was the one who managed to shift Trump's views on crypto. Like that, he had some conversations and kind of had Trump look at it from a different direction. And what Bill is saying, I don't like the political implication. I'm like, the pro tip is that it's all political. Every single bit of it. It's funny when people insist that they're not really into politics and then gripe about an issue that's deeply political, right? I mean, this is how it's all fueled by ideology. Crypto is political, and the decisions connected to it are political. And so this is the thing that Jeff and I talk about almost everything. Like everything can be traced back to something political. It's pretty sad, but that's just the way the world works. And many who have never listened to him made that same comment, where this might have been the first time ever hearing him. And I know what Bill's saying about the fact that a lot of the Bitcoiners are very hostile towards but the point of it is he's at a Bitcoin He's at Bitcoin 2024. It's one of the largest gatherings where they bring the politicians in, they bring the big guns in, Michael Saylor, right? This is an event, and he's speaking to them. So you have to understand that there's really not divisiveness. And he talks about crypto too, but you have to remember that the audience he's speaking to, and Bitcoin is almost like the name for crypto, right? People go like, "Oh, you're still into that Bitcoin? Do you mean XLM or Cardano or Solana or XRP?" Yeah, that stuff too. They call it Bitcoin, right? Because that's how everybody knows it's the first one.
True. It's like tissues or Kleenex.
JV said, "Would you rather have other crypto influencers that are hostile or to a hostile government? I'll take hostile influencers any day. They can't engage in lawfare against this space. And not only that, why wouldn't he politicize as he's running for president? It makes sense. The attacks against crypto have always been political." It's funny because JV and I said these like different, but there's sort of a similar theme running through where he's connecting the dots too, that he's running for president. He's going to talk about what he's going to do as president. And he's also going to talk, maybe 10% of his conversation was about what he's going to do, Jeff, but
Right.
it's kind of the way it was going to go. And then Jeff's comment, Trump
Don't
doesn't
mistake them.
Trump doesn't have to get into the micro details of policy. He told the world he wants to make the US the crypto capital of the planet. The only pro-crypto president, period, full stop. It's irrelevant what some Bitcoin holders or XRP holders think of one another. Jeff, expound on that a little bit.
Well, then they kind of went back to Bill's point that Trump probably didn't realize that there's more people within the Bitcoin conference that would be hostile to other asset holders and more hostile potentially than people within the Biden administration. But I don't think that's even relevant. Doesn't matter what these communities think. The only thing that we really had to focus in on that has any significance from Trump's speech is that he wants to allow the US to excel in innovation and be the epicenter of innovation for crypto assets. That's it. The how he gets there, that'll all be learned in the near future. Is it really that relevant right now, here today, what his exact policies are? He just said what his policy was. His policy is to make the US the crypto capital of the planet. That's his policy. There's a whole bunch of ways to get there, and there's going to be bright people that are going to figure it out. But who needs to get us there are going to be the congressional representatives. That means, we need the House to vote some clarity through. We need the Senate to sign off on it. They all have to get an agreement. Has to be a bill that goes to the president's desk, and he signs it. All these different addendums, like the Token Taxonomy Act and all these different things to provide regulatory clarity. Trump is going to have four years in office. You need to get something done. We have to pave the path. We can't allow another Gary Gensler or Elizabeth Warren or a Shifty Schiff or a Shermanator or a Schumer. We can't let these people dictate the direction that the crypto markets are going to go. And we definitely can't have another SEC chair that at his own whim can make decisions. And so we got to adjust it. The policy is very clear. He stated it. How you're going to get to his policy, that part we're going to learn in time. That's Trump created the narrative. It's going to make America great again, make crypto great again. What else do you need to know with that? How more in depth can you get in a speech when you have 1 hour to speak? When you have all these other topics in and around it to talk about, you don't need to know any more than that. That's all that matters.
Right.
That's my opinion on it, Chip.
Vince Scully says, "My wife and I have many conversations about moving to Thailand, safer, better quality of medical care, etc., etc." Mr. Q says, "Trump even said he would lose an election due to cheating in the speech." That's correct. If the Democrats were serious about crypto, they would fire against Gensler now. Exactly. Yep. Austin crypto. Miguel Castillo says, "When the financial system falls, Trump will be obligated to bring in CBDCs. It will be the name of the national emergency. The globalists will have more power than Trump if he gets elected." Yeah, well, you're not talking about Trump. Trump does not want a CBDC. He said he's not going to do a CBDC. The guy is a man of his word. He's one of the few people that actually delivered on promises because he's not a politician, or at least a typical politician. He is now. He's been president. But DNI says, "Hey, did you guys cover the Olympics wholesome?" Yeah, we did cover a little bit of that in the earlier part of the show. We covered it on our last show yesterday quite a bit. We definitely hit that. Jim D says, I was kind of expecting the Democrats to flip on the border wall to use it as a gilded cage to keep Americans from fleeing with gold and silver to a new nation. Lock us in, right? Basically, lock you in. You can't get out. And Mr. Q said this, Trump. I have to Google this word.
Trump. Oh,
That was this word here.
Tiump. It's a new word.
It's a new word. It was called a misspelling. That's all it was. An E and
It was a complete
E and R right
misspelling,
next to each other on the keyboard, by the way, kids, in case
especially
you're
when you're
wondering.
doing it on your
Yeah.
phone. Makes it even more difficult. And then I didn't
Yeah.
notice it, of course, and pushed it through, and it's too late.
Yeah,
But
now we're-
Mr. Q, Jeff, the problem is that what Trump said is too good to be true. All of what he said.
Yeah,
Some
look
of
at
it
this.
could be, especially if we don't get the Senate or the House. If we're missing one of them, we're not going to get legislation.
Yeah.
Then he can push certain things through some of the elected officials. We can make things happen. There could be some traction, but you're right. It's not going to be enough without both the House and the Senate. We lock in the House and the Senate, and you're going to see some amazing things
If
happen
Trump wins,
long
it's going
term.
to go down ballot. So chances are
It
they
will. Right.
believe that
I
Trump
agree.
wins. The House stays with the Republicans, and the Senate flips over. So there's a very good chance
I
of that
agree.
happening. So I
Especially
wouldn't say,
Elizabeth Warren is leaving.
yeah,
She's
she's
done.
gone.
Goodbye. Goodbye, Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, yeah. It's like finally get out of here, you nut job.
Good
Yeah,
day, Chip and Jeff. I finally caught you lads live. Look at
Oh,
that.
you haven't seen him in a while as well. See what he always
And
comments on.
since we've been over there, look what time. And now it's let's see. So it's 9, so it's like 10 a.m. over there.
There you go. Look at that. Darn boy. I know he'd always comment on our videos watching them, so it's kind of cool to see you
Very
live,
cool to
baby.
see people come on.
Baby
Yeah.
live.
Oh, Dash is here. Trump is the only candidate that matters for everyone. We have to outvote their shadow campaign. That's
That's
it.
right.
It's good. It's truly a disaster. Those that keep preaching democracy won't even let their own electorate vote their candidate in. But they did the same thing. Bernie Sanders back when Hillary Clinton had won. Bernie Sanders had the lead. They came in with super delegates,
Mhm.
and they crushed Bernie Sanders, and they stole the election from him so that they could anoint Hillary Clinton. She was the anointed one. She
That's
was
right.
supposed to take over after Obama. That's what she was promised. They didn't anticipate Trump decimating them. And since then, since 2016, they've been doing everything in their power to undermine Trump and vis-a-vis undermining the safety, security, productivity, and economic well-being of this country and the world, because it's had major impact on a global scale.
Yeah, and this one here, Jeff, let's look
guys
at this
do.
one. This one here from Ellie Terrett. She said, Scoop, the sources inside the Bitcoin fundraiser tell me they don't have legal approval to release a number today, but the goal is to raise $100 million by November. The amount raised from the Bitcoin conference has gone a long way towards that. Attendees are guessing somewhere from 30 to $50 million towards that fundraiser at the Bitcoin conference. So that's what they think. That they just, I mean, that's just the conference. You imagine if they raised $30 to $50 million, especially if it came across in Bitcoin. Incredible. And then Caitlin Long commented on that, and she said, yep, huge number, borrowing it from a movie line from Pretty Woman when she goes back to the snooty dress shop that turned her away and then shows off all her purchases. Big mistake to let Elizabeth Warren abuse government power to try to kill the law-abiding crypto industry. She drove the money to Trump. I love that. Caitlin Long saying that money was driven by her, basically by these actions by people like Brad Sherman, but she names Elizabeth Warren as being the culprit. It's amazing. It's like, she has her hands dirty, and good luck. This is the money you drove.
Man, look at this Chinese bamboo. Look at that. WB.
What's going on?
We haven't seen him for a while either.
OGs.
Nice. Huh? You got 5th? Awesome. Good job.
Josh.
Huh?
All
right.
You're in the final circle.
Huh?
You went up.
Nice. Call of Duty. They're competing in Call of Duty.
Are they?
But they got 5th.
You got to the final
circle. They've got up to 3rd. 2nd. You came in 2nd. Yeah.
That's pretty strong.
Ooh.
That's pretty good.
Ryan Garcia. Chip, do you know Ryan Garcia?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he playing?
What about Ryan Garcia?
Well, you can't show it.
Oh, I can't show it.
Well,
Oh,
We're in the middle of streaming to people
I
here.
know.
yeah.
Can I read it?
No.
I can't read it.
Yeah, I can show
I
you. I'll
can't.
show you.
Can't read
Garcia-
it, and I can't show it.
Garcia said a lot of he said a lot of interesting things, but he's also
Never mind. It's just he went for an hour straight about how he hates the gays.
Oh, okay, got it.
he go on a tirade.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
he went on a tirade, right? It's pretty known
Yeah.
for that.
About
I wouldn't-
about what everybody witnessed at the Olympics.
Right. Yeah, he's been phenomenal. He's he said some controversial things, no doubt.
People are rocking. I'm waiting on my ice cream flavors that Pelosi promised. What were those ice cream flavors that she had? She had that entire freezer just stacked. Remember, with nothing but
It was
ice cream.
so ridiculous. It was like she opens it up and it's all perfectly like they had just put it in there like 10 minutes before the interview. So
She had a Sub-Zero freezer. That's what,
Yeah.
like a $15,000 freezer just
she
dedicated
had
to ice cream.
dual Sub-Zeros, right? So
Yep.
she has them all around her house, by the way. They don't work, I heard, but apparently it keeps people out from going in her house.
Can you play Trump calling Warren Pocahontas at Bitcoin conference yesterday?
Yeah, it was at the beginning. We played that.
We did play it.
We play it. It was
I'll have
it
to
was
cut
at the
that out.
very. Yeah, I'll
We have a
play.
lot
If we
of
have,
things to
go ahead and put back. But
clip.
here we go. So Balaji had this amazing thing. He said the first fair fight. You remember the Emerald Mines or the P-tape, or I Can See Russia from My House, or the Couch Live from just yesterday? For literally generations, Democrats controlled institutions like Hollywood and the New York Times. They can make up whatever fake story they wanted, print the lie on page A1, and disseminate it as a joke,
Oops.
maybe like an SNL skit about it, or even a movie. Then print the retraction on C9, page C19. But now Republicans have their own Hollywood, their own New York Times, even their own financial system, thanks to decentralized AI, social media, crypto, and the playing field is being leveled. So the information war is becoming a fair fight for the first time in forever. And Democrats are not set up for a fair fight. They were jeering like hyenas with their fake attack on JD. That's the new VP pick. And now here, their sudden intake of breath, their gasp of shock as the tables are turned and Elon drops 100 million plus view nuke on the Wokies just by sharing Mr. Reagan's USA's video. That was the one, the AI video we played yesterday on the show with Kamala Harris's voice. That was the one, which is linked in a post clearly labeled parody. It's obviously a joke, kids. It's a parody, just like the JD thing that they played, which X also didn't censor. So what's the problem? So the problem is the Democrats are so used to having total cloud supremacy, total information control, that they've never actually had to make an argument. They don't have to actually talk about any ideas either, because you haven't heard one new idea from Kamala Harris. Nothing. It's all the same old garbage, right? It's completely demoralizing for them to see high production value videos with Democrats as the butt of the joke, like bully getting punched in the throat. I'll say throat. I like that better. These vicious wokes are finally facing committed, capable resistance in the information war. It's the first fair fight, and this one was great, dude. And they were they were community noting it, and they were like, "This is not real. It's fake." Of course, it's a parody. I mean, we're not stupid. Everybody knows it's a parody, but it's a brilliant parody.
Right.
We played this one yesterday. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was. Here's the problem with that. And so what we're seeing right now is mainstream media, and it's so in our face right now that they're not hiding anything that they're trying to do to cheat the system. I mean, it's unbelievable to me. So if you look at, from CNN, ABC News still full steam ahead with presidential debate, despite Trump backing off the comment. Now, there's no reason for him to debate Kamala. Why? Because there's a good chance she's not going to be their nominee. She still has to make it to the DNC. Here's the problem with it. Here is CNN. Look how presidential they make her look. Everything that we've seen about here up until this point, she's cackling. There's audio. She sounds stupid. For the past week and a half, when you see her on TV, zero audio. You never hear her speak. You just see her up at the microphone looking presidential. Now they've ratcheted up to a whole new level when you look at these pictures and you see her kind of in this Obama-esque, JFK-esque kind of looking off into the distance. Her eyes are up. She's like this visionary, she's, got the black suit on, the American flag pin that she's probably never worn her entire life. And you've got all this, the way they're creating the fictitiousness of this event. Like, she's the candidate. She's the one that everyone has to galvanize behind, as though she's somehow an intelligent equal or has an equal chance with Trump, and they completely robbed the Democrats of having any opportunity to choose who their candidate is. And the mainstream media is, there they are,
Scroll up to the
What's that?
headline again.
What's that? The headline?
Go to the headline.
All right, let's go back to the headline. Oops. Where is it?
Jeez, give me there. What's going on, Jeff?
There we go. Whoop. There we go.
Yeah, let's go up to the headline. This is like such nonsense. Despite Trump backing off the commitment, Trump said,
exactly.
Once we know who the nominee is, we will debate. And she's probably going to be the nominee. And Jeff, you had said about all the goofy things she said. This is like just yesterday. So this is her. And I'll please try to follow what she's saying, because I'm not exactly sure what she's saying. Here she is.
GOP leader. I am meeting with a lot of folks, and the work that we have begun is the work that is going to be ongoing. There is no question, and I said this from the very beginning, that our approach to this issue has to be with a commitment to a long-term investment, and it has to be a commitment to consistency. The United States has to be consistent. There were times when we were more engaged and we saw good results, less engaged, and we can see where the work and the partnerships then deteriorate. So I am committed to ensuring that we engage in an active way on the root causes, on addressing the cause and effect, and also being partners in the Western Hemisphere, understanding that we have a responsibility, and if we ignore that responsibility, it will visit itself upon us in a very domestic way. So thank you.
In a very revisit itself on us in a very domestic way.
What is she committed to, and what exactly is the responsibility? How do you talk? How do you
no idea what she said?
You say it over and over again. Like there's zero. It's there. You got to get some of that cackles on there. We got to get some cackles in there.
I'll get her cackles. That would be the best.
New York is right there. What a dude she is. I mean, we have to be and present results because we have a responsibility, and at times we were here and then we were there, and then you'd go from here to there. I mean, what is she talking about? This is the person you're putting up as president. I'm sorry, man. You can do all the glitz and glamour. You can't undo her. You can't. It's just like I mean, once you get a whiff of that, it's over, man. I mean, it's like, what can you possibly get out of this woman? She's a nut job. Jeff, you want to know something else? So I'm going to play this other clip because, oh my gosh. I wanted to play this one because, let's see, where is it? So I went around, the man on the street interviews where they go up and ask people things. Now look at what they ask the people. Like, see if they know anything here. Let's go.
Think of her. Is she doing a good job in office?
Yeah, I think so. I really like her.
Try again.
Now, the girl that's popping in here is the one that makes fun of Kamala, right? The one who does her impression. So she's now doing videos, and they're awesome.
No, not any specific ones particularly, no.
Then what do you like about her?
Just I think she's doing good job.
Oh, shit.
Any specific accomplishments that you're super proud of?
Oh.
I feel like definitely it's amazing to have a woman vice president.
It's definitely totes adorbs.
Top of my head, I can't think of many of them.
That's because there's nothing at the top of your head. The bleach has penetrated.
Really do agree with a lot of the policies she's been putting out, and I think she's a great vice president.
What policies specifically do you agree with?
I don't really know.
Right back.
Can you tell me some?
No. Form your own opinion.
Maybe I don't know what her policies are.
Shocking.
Can't really, to be totally honest. What I really like is that she does kind of give the nation a positive face, being the first woman president.
I'm going to stop you right there. Okay? I do love the whole, you know, Draco Malfoy, Harry Potter had a baby and then you came out. I love the look, but I actually give women a bad name, and I'll tell you why. Okay, I came into office and I didn't unburden anything. Okay. All I do is talk about yellow school buses and Venn diagrams. And I fucked my way here.
Damn. There you go. That's going to get us in trouble. But anyway, that's not us. We're just playing something. I mean, my goodness. But I thought that was pretty good. Jeff just abandoned. He's not even in the green room. He's gone. His camera went out. He's probably rebooting his computer. And while he's out, I'm going to go and show another clip right here. This right here. And it's sad that Jeff is not in here right now. Maybe I should just wait for him. All right. We'll just wait. I'm waiting. And let's go to a John Deaton tweet here that I thought was really fantastic. See if I can find it here. Here he comes. Here he comes. I hear him. He's come. Oh, his camera's broken again. Damn it, Jeff.
Give me a minute.
What's up with your camera?
No, the computer shut off again. I don't know what happened. Hang on a second. I'll be right back.
Did you lose your battery or something?
No, just all of a sudden went to sleep. It went into sleeping mode. Very strange.
Okay. Let me see. I had that Deaton tweet up, and then I don't know where it was. There's two things that I had on John Deaton.
That's so strange.
Yeah, so this was are you still there, Jeff? What's up?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Let me try to go back out. I'll be right back. Hang on a second.
Right, I'm gonna go ahead and read through this this little post right here. This is John Deaton. By the way, he did go to Bitcoin 2024. He was there, and let me share the screen here, and let's go. Here we go. So John Deaton was commenting on this video here. Again, this is Warren, her, the big script that she gave Gary Gensler to control, sort of like, here are the questions, and you want the answers too. And John Deaton's commenting on that, saying the single most significant thing that Vice President Kamala Harris could do to demonstrate that she's 100% serious about resetting regarding Bitcoin, as well as fostering a digital asset economy during her administration, is to demand Gary Gensler's immediate resignation. Arguably, no single person has caused more harm to individual investors than Gensler, including Sam Bankman-Fried. First, Gensler's policy of regulation by enforcement is a big reason investors and customers are looking offshore companies like FTX in the first place. Second, Gensler met with SBF multiple times, and he's refused to turn over any notes, emails, or correspondence between Gensler, the SEC, and Sam Bankman-Fried. We all know Gensler's been taking orders from Elizabeth Warren. She literally told him what to say when he testified before the Senate. And VP Harris asking Gensler to resign would go a long way in demonstrating good faith. I believe that, Jeff. It would go a long way. Do you think that's possible at all? What is your take on that?
Could go a long way. Let's just get rid of them.
Yeah, but do you think that the VP Harris is going to say, I'm going to demonstrate to the crypto world and I'm going to ask for Gary Gensler's resignation?
No.
Not going to happen.
No, I mean, here's the problem with that whole thing is that, Kamala Harris isn't changing. Gary Gensler isn't changing. Schiff isn't changing.
No.
Schumer said he isn't changing. The Shermanator isn't changing. Pelosi not changing. The whole list of them not changing. They say what they say. They mean what they mean. They're going to do everything to circumvent the Constitution. They try to pass specific policy that's not constitutional that ends up at the Supreme Court and has to get thrown out. Things that Biden has done, even through executive order, will be thrown out next year. They're so inefficient. You can't trust them. There's no reason to trust them. And there's no reason to believe in any way, shape, or form that all of a sudden, after 3.5 years of them screwing you over, they're going to all of a sudden have a change of heart. There's no way. Not going to happen. They're going to double down, triple down, quadruple down, and they're going to make it even worse. There's no way that, you could wishful thinking that hopefully it's going to happen. So if you're a Democrat or you're an independent and you're like, I don't like how Trump tweets, so I'm going to vote for these people, then just be prepared that it's because of you that, we're going to have a devastated economic outcome, and our country is going to be completely unsafe. We're going to be overridden by illegals that are going to make every city worse than what we see in San Francisco right now. It's going to be devastating, and you can take all the blame for it, and that's it. Go look at what's going on over in Europe right now and see how great all of those quote unquote migrants are treating the indigenous population over there. But you're either, if you want innovation, if you want economic well-being, if you want safety and security, then you only vote for, vote red. You got to vote for Trump. That's it. It's simple. It's simple.
Look at Bob Moneybags. It's great to see Bob in here. I haven't seen him in a long time. Hey, do you think Kamala will select Gabby Gifford's wife? You talking about Mark Kelly? Wife. That's funny. I was laughing at that. By the way, Laura Loomer pulled up a.
There you go. We are slaves. Dems never give an inch.
No, and that's I can tell you, I appreciate that about them. They have each other's back for the most time. There's a lot of infighting going on now, like there was during the Bernie, thing. But they usually have each other's back, and they don't give an inch. They don't. There's no reasoning with them. And that's a strong suit.
Kamala would be better and more qualified option than a president than Kamala. American politics clown show continues.
It's a clown show. It's a clown show. And one of the things we can offer the rest of the world is our clown show. We do have that. It is something good. Have you watched the yesterday, today, tomorrow clip of how? Oh yeah, this is what I say. Like
yesterday, it's like today, but it's still tomorrow. And today,
AI video looks more believable than the real videos of Kamala Ding Dong. Kamala Ding Dong is what I call her. That's what I call her, Kamala Ding Dong. That's Trump. He's like, let me say it again. It's just Kamala Ding Dong. Well, look at this, Jeff. The Tom Emmer sort of agrees with us. He watches this podcast.
He does. Well, he does, yeah.
Much like her presidential.
He's asking about Kamala Harris here, and listen what he says.
Much like her presidential run the last time, Guy, as soon as she starts talking after Labor Day, you watch that campaign drop. I think Donald Trump has an excellent chance of being the first Republican presidential candidate to win Minnesota in 50 years.
Well, that bail fund that he addressed last night, I think, is a big vulnerability for Harris as well. And we'll be watching all of it.
Boom. He's calling Minnesota. Whoa. Hey, now. He's calling it. He's calling Minnesota. I mean, that's a big thing. And Minnesota's been a long time. How many years did he say it was? It was a good number of years. And, Jeff, the Russians, well, they had their own say. Like, this is in Russian, but you guys got to read. I can't read this. For obvious reasons, but I'm playing something that did not originate YouTube, something that did not originate on this channel. It's a parody video that some Russians created. We didn't do it. We don't speak Russian, but let me play it. You guys can watch the subtitles, but they had their own thing to say and their own critique on the Olympics. They're envisioning what the Olympics of the future will look like.
2060. Количество трансгендеров и других представителей ЛГБТ, участвующих в Олимпийских играх, достигло рекордного числа. В результате чего Олимпиада была переименована в...
It was renamed. Look at that.
Oh my God.
As a result, it was renamed.
В результате чего Олимпиада была переименована в Олимпиадиаду. Спортсмены соревнуются в таких дисциплинах, как ЛГБ-теннис, лесби-яхтинг, трансгребля, фехтованус, скалолизанье, клубничный гандбол с усиками, сосерфинг, педиборье, пихвандо, свингольф и водная стропола. Россия из-за отсутствия спортсменов в этих видах спорта была снята с соревнований.
Well, there you go. That's a parody video. It's like that. That was pretty good. I was like, that was a little bit rough there, Jeff. I'm not gonna lie. It's like that's not something I could read. Sorry for you people listening on the podcast, and there's hundreds of you to listen. Just listen to us, but look it up. Look up the Russian parody video on the 2030 Olympics, and you'll get a good feeling what that looks like.
Mark said I could sure use a mean tweet and $1.87 gas right about now. Oh yeah,
for sure. There was something else that he put something else up there that made me laugh. I can't find it now, but it was.
Do you have the link that you can throw in there?
For that video, sure. I do.
Even though it'll go out later, but that's pretty funny.
Yeah, let's see. It's a good one. Yeah, here it is. Yep. We read all the tweets, so you don't have to.
Bob Moneybags said, I deal with many people in my job that have issued Social Security numbers in Michigan that are not real citizens and should not have a Social Security number. Middle East soda will fall as we don't worry. War is peace, guys.
No, that's true, man. Well, I think, and all the critiquers and people that had something to say about, this, defending. What's really interesting is tell me who you voted for last cycle without telling me who you voted for, because people are not happy about Trump. Trump's a liar. Everything that comes out of Trump's mouth is a lie. He didn't like crypto. Yeah, that's what he said. But imagine in Trump's first term, if he says one of the single greatest things in the entire world, in the universe even, is Bitcoin. What do you think would have happened to Bitcoin if Trump came out in favor of Bitcoin? They would have gone hard. No, we got to kill Bitcoin. Trump likes it, right? So now when Trump pivots on it, he can, because all the legislation's being done by the Republicans going back to 2017. All of a sudden, and people were saying like, oh, well, no, you can't really, Trump can't fire them because once they're appointed, you can't get rid of them. Now you can ask for the resignation, but that's something that Kamala could do, right? She could just say like, hey, why don't you just resign? That's something you can easily do. But what they can do, and I'm trying to find if I have the tweet here, and who knows if I do. Yeah, so Daniel Keller, who is the CEO of the #1 project on the XRPL, in case any of you didn't know, he reminds us pretty often. I think it's daily, but he reminds us pretty often. And he's also the CEO of Casino Coin. He put this up. Since I don't know about U.S. law, can someone explain this to me? The president designates one of the commissioners as chairman, the SEC's top executive. However, the president does not possess the power to fire the appointed commissioners, a provision that was made in what was this one? A provision was made to ensure the independence of the SEC. This issue arose during the 2008 presidential election and connecting with the ensuing financial, right? So people are saying like Trump cannot fire them. What is he talking about? He's going to fire them on day one. There's no way he can do that. So this guy's saying, so he can do nothing. 2010 Supreme Court decision ruled the commissioners could not be removed by the president except for certain circumstances, but he can appoint. There's a new one coming up in 2025. He can appoint one, and usually the balance is going to be 3-2. So he'll appoint a Republican, and it'll always sway to whoever's in power. So it'll be 3 Republicans to 2 Democrats. He said, so he can pretty much do nothing. And I said, well, Trump would basically sign off on Warren Davidson's SEC Stabilization Act, which would restructure the Securities and Exchange Commission and remove Gensler as the chair of the SEC. So that's exactly what this bill does. This is what Tom Emmer came up with. We were just listening to him in a clip, and all we have to do is sign that. So they could push it through the House, the Senate, and he could sign it in 2 days, right? Could he do it on day one? No. But there's euphemisms going on, right? The pledge is I'm going to fire Gary Gensler. So he can't say you're fired. Got it. But there's other ways to take him out. You can make it so difficult for him, he wouldn't want to be there.
Who's he going to replace Gensler with? Maybe Elizabeth Warren, because her role will be vacant.
She seems to
have some free time on her hands.
Somebody who's anti-crypto, Vince. Probably someone who's super anti-crypto. No, he'll consult with Vivek, and he'll figure out who's going to be. So we don't know who that'll be, but it'll be somebody.
They can change the law to allow him to fire Gary. There you go.
Well, that's it. But I love that the Emmer one.
Yeah.
Emmer and Davidson kind of collaborated on this. So it's both of the SECs, but part of what it does is it expands. There's no central control figure that can be this sort of like, it's almost like a dictator. Whatever they say goes, and it's more fair. They add another commissioner, it'll be 6-3, so they have to sort of work things out a little bit more. And I think we covered it at the time when it actually came out, but I don't know. That's all the time we have. I can't believe we hit everything we wanted to do. There's one piece that I wanted to do.
There's a couple nice things in there too. There's a couple. Get some stuff on Wisconsin. Where'd it go?
I think we talked about the Wisconsin thing. There was a thing about the election.
Georgia election fraud.
Yeah, I had
election cheating in Wisconsin. There's some good stuff up there, queued up there.
Yeah, we had to probably push that off.
Jordan Peterson had some commentary on gender surgery.
That was good. Yep. There's some good stuff. We can't get to it all.
A great exchange between Jungle and Mark Fagel.
That was a good one.
Deaton on Harris. So a bunch of good stuff.
Played that when you went off. There's some stuff. We can't get to it all. We always have more than we need. We never get to it all.
because that's good.
That's kind of how it goes. But I can probably cover this jungle one really quick.
All right. Fabio saying, "Ciao, boys. Always happy to listen to you both. See you soon down under."
Thank you, Fabio. I can't wait to go down under. And this next time, listen, we're seeing a damn koala bear. Okay, we didn't see one koala bear. We didn't see one kangaroo or a wallaby. None of it. We saw none of it. So next time we want.
Hopefully they'll have them at the hotel on the ground somewhere.
That would be awesome.
Be cool.
We're seeing wherever we can. So this is kind of a funny exchange here. But Jungle put up this Ripple and SEC update. A leaked image suggests a crucial meeting between the SEC and Ripple Labs on August 1st. What could this mean for the future of crypto? And this is the thumbnail that Jungle put up. And Mark Bagel
at a calendar. I heard.
He's got a calendar with August 5th. It could be big. What is it going to mean? And Mark Fagel said, "Oh my God, this looks big." And Mark Fagel used to be he's a retired securities lawyer. He worked with the SEC for many years, so he knows the landscape. He's a good source. He does kind of put a lot of this to bed. But it said SEC meetings and other events, closed meetings, and it says. Agenda, settle SEC v. Ripple, Gary Gensler to hand deliver $10 Wendy gift cards to all XRP holders.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah, and so then he was, bagging on Jungle like, oh, this is so big, it's probably going to happen. And if you watch the video, if you actually read the piece, he also posted the link to his video in the piece. Jungle goes, hey, specifically he pointed this. He's talking about let me make this bigger. He's talking about Mark Fagel. He says Mark Fagel specifically pointed out that future sales of XRP and transactions since 2020 could still pose legal issues for Ripple, underscores the difficulty of navigating the regulatory landscape even after a settlement. And Fagel said that's not what happens at a weekly closed meeting, but dream big. Because he's always like poking holes in all this stuff. And Jungo was basically saying, uh-oh. And he goes, Mark Fagel, uh-oh, it looks like I've debunked myself. Very meta. But come on, some poor fool is going to see your post and not realize the relentless chatter about closed-door meetings is complete fiction, which all these so-called influencers with 300,000 subscribers are yapping about all the time. They're wrong all the time. And he says, well, Jungle says, is it better to post Mark Fagel says it's a bunch of BS and no one reads it, or leave it ambiguous and people get to the real info, which reaches the most people? I will adhere to whatever you decide for the future. Mark goes, carry on. You've got the actual audience here. That was like a fun exchange. I like that. It was once in a while you come across these things that are just like a little bit of magic. So it was good to see Jungle and Mark kind of going back and forth. And Mark's a great music guy too. He's always posting cool stuff about music. So I always appreciate it. I think I posted on this too. I said, yeah, Mark, I appreciate your perspective, given your experience working at the SEC and your understanding the landscape of that. And you do have great taste in music. He's like, thanks. So all very good. I don't know. I think that's all we have, Jeff. That's all the time we have. We're almost out of here.
It wasn't a security. Then why do the SEC oversee it?
The whole point. It's not a security, so the SEC has no jurisdiction. That's the whole freaking point. You nailed it right there in one sentence. One sentence. I don't know how many words that was, but that is it in a nutshell. Ready to get out of here, Jeff? Notorious popping. What's going on?
Notorious. What's up? Look at that.
Hey, Notorious.
Nice. Good to see Notorious. It's been a while.
All kinds of OGs in the space in here.
Fabio's saying he's going to arrange for there to be a koala bear, a wallaby, and a kangaroo at our hotel.
We're going to shake hands. Hello. Good to meet you. Good to meet you. All right, Fabio's the man. I love it.
That's right.
That is awesome. Awesome sauce. Love it. Huddle the
That
huddle.
would be very cool.
Dude,
Man, everybody's here today.
OG
That's
Central here. What is up?
Man, it's great
God,
to
is
see everybody.
Rockin's in here too, man. This is OG night. My God, Mike's here. OG, what a killer entertainment show, my friends. Thank you, like always. Yeah, we love it, man.
We're crushing over there on X.
We ain't scared. No, hell no, we ain't scared. OTC fam, we are not scared at all. Right. Satoshi Nakamoto, put him in the SEC chair. There you go. They'd be like, this guy never shows up for work. He's like Gary Gensler. Gary Gensler never shows up either. He's always in that really creepy, weird freaking room in his house where they do, I don't know, ritual killings. I don't know what they do in there. I
don't know what they do. It's so bizarre.
Who knows what the hell they do? But see you guys. See you, mate. Notorious says Bob Moneybags. G'day, says Steve Willits. And Rafi, another OG. Guys, checked out proof of Zaza token? Haven't. Oh, Kasha, yeah. Kasha and I were talking a little bit about that. Yeah. I'll chat a little bit about that. It looks interesting. It's kind of cool. We'll see what happens when they actually do it. It's an interesting thing. I don't know if it's my blood, but I do think there are going to be people that are going to be, the Zaza. It's going to have some people that are into that type of thing. But yeah, we'll have to check. We'll have to check it out. Fight, baby! Fight. We're here, Jeff. Take us out of here. I'll hit the trigger when you're ready.
So we got to appreciate everyone being here with us, talking the crypto talk, getting ready for 2024. Trump 2024 going to make America great again, and we're going to pave the way for crypto. And the U.S. will be the leader of crypto and all that amazing innovation in 2025. So stay tuned for that. We'll check you guys back out this Wednesday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Looking forward to seeing everybody on that. And that's all we got, Chip. That is all we have for tonight.
Chip and Jeff. Ow!
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.